Welcome to the Heart for God podcast. With many years of experience pastoring and helping to start churches, Dr. Jim Townsley has some practical and biblical advice that can be a great help to you and your ministry. On this podcast, Dr. Townsley and other guests with special expertise cover a variety of topics. His goal is to help you lead your church to be a healthy, strong, and balanced ministry, and for your family to be happy, healthy, and living for the Lord.
Well, thank you for joining me today in our podcast, A Heart for God. And I have a special guest with me today, Brother James, or we should say James Mattox. He is the pastor of Rich Creek Baptist Church in Spanishburg, West Virginia, which is basically Princeton, West Virginia. Your wife is from here, right?
Yes, sir.
And you're not from here, but you're from what state?
Georgia.
Oh, yeah. He's proud of that. From Georgia, Georgia Bulldog. And God led him to this place. It's taken over the church. It's 150 years old. And they have a vibrant church out in the middle of nowhere. And you always ask, where do all these people come from? Where do they come from? They must drive a distance to get here. I guess some from Princeton, probably several from there.
All the different little towns around the area. I guess everybody probably drives at least 15 minutes or more to come to the church. And then some are pretty local.
Some a half hour or more.
Yeah, sir.
So, and the church is a well-established church. I mean, you've taken over, I don't know if you'd call it ideal situation. I mean, that every church has problems, but they're good men and families, and, you know, it's a little bit older of a congregation, but they're people every age, really.
Yes, sir. I guess I've been here for 20 years, so they're getting older as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So we just did a interview with the church, and we did a review from Saturday through today, Monday, and we spent a lot of time talking about things. So what do you feel right now? Is your head spinning?
Yeah, I feel like sometimes maybe I'm not the one cut for the job. But when I with God's help, we can get things accomplished through Him.
So what's the most important thing or things that you've drawn out of this weekend review?
Just to constantly be thinking and not just staying with the status quo, and just wanting to be able to improve and grow in my own life, but also to be looking for the future for our own church, to find out some areas that are lacking that maybe need to be improved, that we want to try to improve and get better at.
Well, one of the things that I find among young preachers, when they don't need help and they think they have all the answers, they're pretty much consigned to failure. And you've been very generous and welcoming and allowing me to come in and look at things, and some things you might not want to hear, but you've been very good because you want the church to grow. That's been your motivation, to make the church better, make it healthier.
Yes, sir. And I will say I appreciate your spirit of coming in here and not just beat me up with the head and said, well, you just need to get out of the ministry. You're doing a terrible job. I appreciate your spirit and just wanting to be a help and just be a blessing to us more than anything else. And it certainly has been that for me, for sure.
Okay, and one thing, it seems to be pretty consistent when I go meet with churches and pastors, is very often the pastor has not planned for retirement in the future. And sometimes, I'd say almost always, the church is not planned. And, you know, if you have a church where the pastor's been there a long time and he doesn't have any plans, he's going to step down, retire, his health is bad, you know, the church is really in an awkward position. That how are they going to take care of him, and can they afford to do it? How's a pastor going to live? And what I'm seeing is, some cases, we're talking about, if people learn how to manage their money, we're talking about tens of thousands of dollars that by planning that they have saved or utilized that they would not have had. And in some cases, the church could have had much more money. I mean, In some cases, we may be talking $1 million or more difference that it would make. And so, everybody's unique and everybody's different, but I think that's something that was important to you for the future of your family, for the future of the church.
Yes, sir. Very much so.
So hopefully all that was helpful. We spent a lot of time talking about
definitely.
those things. And it's a little bit awkward when you're not familiar with some of those things. So there's a learning curve.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure.
But I try and help people. That people will call me and say, here's where I'm at. What do I do? How do I do this? How do I open an account? And different things like that. So I appreciate all that. Now, you do have one staff member, but you have a lot of people do different jobs. Was that true before you even came, that there were a lot of leaders that had certain responsibilities?
Yes, sir. Everybody definitely had different responsibilities, had laymen helping with our teens and, volunteer lady who helped the choir. And, of course, all of our Sunday schools were filled with people just pitching in. And then when I first came, I was the first paid staff member other than the pastor when I first came. So I was able to come and be a help to him. And so I helped kind of look at the needs that weren't being fulfilled and trying to fulfill those needs. But we had a lot of people just doing a lot of fulfilling the needs of the church.
So you came basically as an assistant pastor.
Yes, sir.
What did you do at that time? Work with the youth, or?
My main job was working with our his wife was taking care of her elderly mother at home and was not able to do that. So she helped lead the Wednesday night programs. So that was my main emphasis, was starting to take control over the Wednesday night program, which when I first came here, we got Awanas, and then 1 year later we transitioned to Masters Club. I helped transition that program over, and then that was just kind of the main thing. And then I just started seeing needs of the church and started asking the pastor about it, helping out with children's church, reorganizing that a little bit. And our kids weren't going to camps, so helping the kids start taking the camps and leading a children's/teen choir, and just on and on and on, and just seeing the needs and just trying to jump in there and fill in those voids.
So you really weren't given clear job description or certain things you want to do other than Wednesday night. You had to kind of figure this out on your own.
Yes, sir. Very much so, yeah.
And now you have someone working for you. So how are you going to, do you just leave that on his own, or are you trying to instruct him and give him more clarity of what you want him to do?
Yeah, give him more what needs to be done, and trying to emphasize, not just doing the job of Wednesday night or Sunday mornings and working with our young people, but even reaching out to those families, and visiting them, and not just focusing on what just happens during the church time, but focus on visiting and then of course being ready to take help with any other loads that you may need to be done.
So I think you were pretty motivated yourself to do stuff and accomplish things, but if an assistant came in, they may ultimately think, I want to be a pastor someday, but I'm not ready. And he comes in, in some cases, if they don't have clarity as to what they're supposed to do, then they could be kind of lost. And I'm sure that was a temptation for you. It's like, what do I need to do, and where do I need to spend my time? Yeah,
that was kind of, I remember talking to a former pastor that was out I was under, just trying to figure out what to do. And he did try to encourage me just to, spend time in your word and get, develop sermons at that time, but also just, see needs and just jump in and do it. get something started, like someone said, see the need and just take the lead on it and try to get things organized, and don't just sit around waiting or don't do anything because you're not told to do anything. Just jump in there and find something that you can get started and accomplish and lead it and go with it.
Well, it's pretty obvious you're doing a great job. We all need to improve. We all need to get better. But I think if I didn't come in here, you're still going to do well. But hopefully it's been helpful give insight into different things, to maybe avoid some mistakes and have a greater vision of what can be done. And I think that there's a lot of things we discussed. I don't know how much time we've spent together, but it's been many hours.
Yes, sir.
Talking about things. So we're grateful to be here and thankful for the work you're doing. And in a way, it's encouraging to me to see there are young men in their 40s that are really on the right track, doing a good job. And certainly you're one of those, and thankful for what you're doing. So thank you for allowing me to come, and thank you today for listening to this broadcast. Hopefully it'll be a blessing to you, and maybe you're looking for an assistant, or maybe you are an assistant. Maybe something that was said will be a help and encouragement to you. God bless. Have a great day.
Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed the podcast, consider sharing it with a friend. You can also follow at Dr. Townsley on Twitter or on Facebook at Jim Townsley.